Okadokes, what's up, folks? Sorry for the delay there. I was just communicating with the teams and listening a little bit. So, what's up, guys? For future reference to the teams, I'll try to avoid doing that in the future. Sorry. I think people were taken a little bit by surprise. I can't say I've ever felt unwanted in a cast before, but first time for everything. In any case, we're gonna get going. We're gonna keep it cool, keep it fresh. Caster Face Pog, what's up? Mason Poo, as well as your boy Ivan and co. Yeah, my bad. I did not mean to boot you off the cast, Ivan. Strictly, look, I wasn't intending to cast like more matches tonight. But the thing is, I eyed the schedule after I finished my last stream, and I saw 12 hype votes on this one. And part of me always feels bad when I see matches with the high hype votes not being casted. Of course, I did not know you were there to spectate, so my bad. That was purely it. I just, you know, I feel bad. I see a match with a lot of votes, so I feel like I need to go cast it. Only for the players to not want me there. So, kind of feels bad, man. Anyways, is what it is. That said, going to it. I'll get over it. My feelings are just a little bit hurt, that's all. But anyways, we're going to get to it, I think, soon. I know one of these players, I believe Moonlit, might have been having some ping issues from what I heard in the pre-game discussions. So, with that, I mean, I hope they get it settled. Apparently, this is like the second time I've done that, where I join as they're having some issues for one of their matches, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyway. What's up, guys? I mean, you know, no, not trying to throw shade is all. I'm just a little bit off guard, because, you know. First thing I hop into the chat, and then I just hear a bunch of, like, oh man, why didn't you tell us earlier? It's gotta be a rule. We hate that. This and that. So, you know, I'm not used to not being wanted in a cast, but we'll keep it good, keep it pro. I'm just, I'm all shooketh, I guess. Anyway, all is well. Just doing what we can for these players. That's all I ever try to do. Oh no, it was like multiple players, unfortunately. But anyway, is what it is. So, coming in here, let's see, what are we looking at stats-wise? Sharpshooters and Nani. And indeed, did have a dozen hype votes there. So coming in the Silver 2 division, it looks like, for Sharpshooters, not enough games yet to kind of decide where exactly they will be. So, this is their fourth match of the season. They've had one casted 4 days ago. That was versus... Oh yes, I remember. The last Sharpshooters. So, definitely a good mixture of teams there. But they had 3 straight wins. So, you know, trying to find exactly where they're going to end up here in the late season. And I'm interested in seeing. So with that, round 1 off into the races, and picked off here by Dr. Duma for Nani Reforged. Sharpshooter now with the disc. It's crispy from that right lane. Gonna work it in down below to Geek, actually. Not G3, but going full force into the 2 points to start things off. Nice pass. Only 15 seconds off the clock on that goal. Geek 101. Geek with elite speak, I suppose. Now that said, we are, as you see, 3 players at the moment. Over on the Nani side, I know, again, know that Moonlit was intended to play, or at least was there, but apparently was just having some bad connection issues, which is an unfortunate thing to see for sure. And now I see Moonlit in the chat, so maybe something changed, I'm not sure, but King Crispy, or the Crispy, will get the disc and send it right back off a good save, almost meeting the goal before it's picked off by Dr. Duma. Now off into the top wedge, picked off by Leonite. Has that disc and just trying to eye down the floor. Deep score perhaps, and wow, that's dead center. Leonite, more like Leonidas. Looking like a warrior. Yeah, the absence of Moonlit, unfortunate about the issues there. Sorry to see that there is a 6-player roster on your team, so I'm hoping you guys can maybe get someone extra. Always a hope. But Will Kayak over down to the mid lane. Gonna pop it off over to Dr. Duma. Lining things up, just doing what they can. The thing is, in a 3v4, at least for the moment, the biggest barrier of entry here in terms of entry into the bubble and getting scores is just cannot get all too separated when you're a three-man team because you know, the absence of that extra stacker and such can cause some issues. But that said, they do actually get a goal attempt, will not be able to convert it. Crispy now on the clear left lane. That will be sent waywards and picked off here near that double. Actually make it the trap. There's one player for either team. And that will be Dr. Duma with the disc. Subs are both unavailable. Got it. Well, I guess when it rains, it pours, huh? I'm sorry to hear about those issues for sure. Just had one stream, I think it was yesterday. Who was it? The Memers versus Herbivores as maybe an Omnivore because they're going to eat up that goal. Leon Knight, 8 points. And quite the delight from 14 out. Yeah, I had a match yesterday. Who was it? The something Herbivores. I had an adjective before it. The Herbivores, it was their first match all season. They played 25 games. They had like a 15-9 record or something like that. And then their first cast of the season, they have to go 3v4 because of someone with a headset issue and couldn't play. So indeed, sometimes it just goes like that. It's unfortunate, but the realities of the online nature, I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, still happy to get to feature teams. I mean, even in that case, the Herbivores put up a great show. They had so many awesome saves and also got a good helping of points despite being down players. So you never know. It's happened before. Could happen again. But that said, down by 8 points. Sharpshooters trying to make something happen. Maybe go up by double digits, but unable to do so. That will be taken here at the wedge now. Picked off by Geek. Now, Geek 101. Trying to go take these players to school here. And that is some shots. 101. Or I guess just 1-0. Which is to say 10 on the board for Sharpshooters. Oh, Geek lol. So I got tricked up by the double leet speak. Jeez. I got the Geek part early on, but the 101 part, I just thought it was, you know, like 101, like, such and such 101, school subject, all that stuff. Either way, not too cool for school, and, well, they will get the shot, although, was saved by, who was that? Will. So, got the grab, but the technical goal, it's gonna go against you sometimes. They're down by a dozen. Always a painful thing for a goalie. But nonetheless, 5:20 left. Nani Reforged doing what they can here. Also, since Moonlight is in the chat, any chance of maybe pinging for like a league sub? I think you can always, you know, take a tech timeout and then a between round timeout. You know, get 10 minutes and maybe you can get a league sub. But in any case, I'm hoping it can turn into a 4v4 at some point. Either or, putting on the fight that they can. What is Joust advantage? Asked Knight. That just means the team that got scored on, they launch with a disc next time around. As a great save coming in from Pizza Cat. Having themselves a slice of a time. They're thinking, get on the board, though, for some scores. That's the unfortunate thing, is even, again, on these saves, just too many attempts the other way, it's going to be a score eventually, as indeed it will be the case, although it does go off the dome of Pizza, I believe. So another one of the technical goals, it sails in, and that's unfortunate. 14 points on the board. This was supposed to be a rematch of me and Kayak versus the team we barely lost again at the end of last season. Yeah, again, sorry to hear about that too. So a grudge match, apparently. Well, I know it's definitely a tough loss seed, and believe me, like when I was playing, I'm not a stranger to those type of tech issues. Sometimes at very crucial moments, as we see someone kind of phasing in and phasing out. That's all I know. They are the bane of people's existence as well right now, to the bane of their existence. Sharpshooters has scored 17 off that anchor. Beat them with 1 second left on the board with a 3-pointer. Wow. I mean, yeah, there's been some great matches we've seen here on stream. A lot of these ones that I've casted as of late, too, going to three rounds and overtimes. With that, Dr. Duma, there's the shot that's right on line for the first few. Nicely done, still playing through it. Doing what they gotta do. And a lovely score in only 8 seconds expended. Yeah, just the other day when I was casting on Sunday, we had... what was it? 3 or 4 EU matches, and then I think 3 or 4 NA matches. So basically I had 7 or 8 casts that night. I had 4 round 3s, I had 4 OTs, and we have Geek, lol, with the Geek goal. 19 points. Knight in there saying, talking about the tough time on offense for teams with 3 players. And yeah, I definitely agree. It's a tough thing. I will say, just as a kind of disclaimer of sorts, even though it is difficult and unlikely, I actually have had 2 matches this season. 2 matches this season that were 3v4 where the 3-person team won. Very, very unusual. I won't lie, it's very unusual. But that said, I've seen stranger things. And right now, trying to turn upside down and turn this round around, Will Kayak. Will from Stranger Things, maybe. Either way, they are swimming here. Or rowing, I guess, on this stream for the 19-5 scoring total. So they're not going down without at least a couple goals here. Now Crispy, right lane, sending out to Leon Knight. 2 in that tunnel, trying to get some stacks, but looks like at least a brief delay from Nani. Trouble is, though, that number situation here may be playing out, although it is going to be loose into the wedge. Just beyond that backboard and reaching for the sky, reaching for the disc, sending it to the sky over to Keiko. Keiko over to Crispy, Crispy the goal, putting them in the deep fry for 21 points now. And we have now crossed that threshold where, even in regular matches, I always say 20 points is the definitive threshold where if any team reach that, that's usually going to be the team that wins a match. Even in a full 4v4, it's very rare to see 2 teams ever scoring 20. So if you hit that mark, you know one team is feeling mighty fine and in a good position to win. That said, passing play here, maybe? Nope. So snagged away. Pizza Cat with the 3rd save, including that headbutt earlier. Not all of them have panned out the way that they wanted to, but still yet some nice defense being shown by Pizza and by Nani Reforged, showing that they are iron forged with some iron wills. Now picked up high, gonna be Will, and the disc maybe into the goal. No, snagged out there by Crispy. But still, they have some. They've had some chances at some good goals, and they've shown some great things on the defensive end. That's why it's one of those cases where, as a shot does go off here, last one slapped through by Geek. That's where you can tell if it had been the full 4 players, and again, maybe if we get 2 consecutive timeouts here between rounds, and then 5 minutes to start, could still get a 5v5 or sorry 4v4. Should a sub be available, league sub that is, but you can tell that if this was a 4v4 to start things off, I mean it would be a much closer round. I do anticipate based off what we're seeing from Nani over here. Still showing up and putting in some numbers, and again, good defense. Just very tough to get too much going because you're so reliant, excuse me, so reliant on the 4th player to be able to get those stacks, the mobility, and have an extra passing option for that matter. So definitely a big deal there. And 5v5, maybe not so much. Maybe not. Looks like we'll be getting back into the round, though, and about 40 seconds, give me like a quick 20 seconds to go run for some water. I should probably bring that in before the cast, but like I said, wasn't anticipating casting here extra matches until I saw the hype votes, so, anyways, be right back, and apologies because our scores are a little bit messed there, it looks like. Okay, off to the second round. I got my water. Wasn't actually that far away after all. Back to the round then. So it looks like we will still be continuing on this way. And, well, best of luck indeed to Nani, just trying to deal with it the best that they can. As sharpshooters on their end, obviously just needing to take care of business here, of course. I don't want to let up it whatsoever, and they won't. A lot of clever moves by the crispy one, and 2 points for sharpshooters. So got started the right way, and only 18 seconds off the clock in that case. Also appreciate you guys, Ivan and Mason there. Appreciate y'all. Was over on being interviewed, well, not by Ivan that week, but by Venom over on Ivan's show the other week. That was a fun time for sure. And that's a fun dime being delivered from from Dr. Duma. So not too, not too far out of reach. I mean, tied it up right off the bat. Again, I have seen stranger things. The 3v4 wins can happen. You never know. But if the other two here, sharpshooters, they just got to prioritize that disc control for sure. And kind of that quick joust, almost a rush joust you saw, definitely won't do the job. So it's one of those cases where, you just got to keep the cool head and make sure that, you do take care of the fact that you'll always have one person open in 4v3 somewhere on the floor, right? By its very nature. That said, that score, wow, that is clean. That is crispy. That is king or clean crispy. This is the same crispy, right? Change the name to Crispy Dash, but this is King Crispy, correct? Because if so, that makes that pun better. If not, well, whatever. Either way, that was a slick shot. So that's definitely going to put one early nail already in Nani Reforged. I know there's plenty of time, believe me, but man, those half-court, 3/4 court mail slots, that can really get a team feeling in a fantastic groove. And on the flip side, can really kill the other team's mentality for Nani Reforged, right? Anytime you see the tough shots go in, those are one of the the mental shots, basically, right? Where the 2 or 3 points is actually worth a lot more than just the 2 or 3 points because of the toll it takes on the other team. That said, making me shut up in a hurry, Will Kayak willing that one in to tie it up. And that was really precise and nice off the finesse. Not the easiest shot either in its own right, to hit the perfect little spot in the pyramid and squeeze it by the defender, so well done on their part. They're still sticking through with this one. Gotta love it. King Crispy is still crispy, crispy is crispy. Okay, gotcha, just making extra sure. Because we have, man, there are a lot of names like that where there's multiple players with kind of similar names, and then the dash throws me off as well, right? Because a lot of players who have like bigger names, they'll change their name to just like half of it what it was, and then add the dash as a little dash of a shot for Will. Again, a breakaway goal. Right, like Dash XL Dash used to be Dash XL, but now he's just Dash, right? You got, who else? Ryan Rhino. Used to be Ryan Rhino, now he's just Ryan Dash. So, that's kind of how I made the logical jump to, oh, King Crispy is now just Crispy Dash. But, to be fair, I guess I was wrong. But in any case, it's Keiko here with a pass off down below. A very quick joust and capitalizing 11 seconds on that goal time. Look at this round, folks. It's a goal for goal, basically. One team scores, the other team, well, reacts, rebuts. Is that a word? Looking good. Now, Pizza Cat, who had those stellar saves the last round, that first round, despite the loss, well, getting another pick off here. So Geeklo and Leonite on that back line, kind of waiting, seeing if they can take the defense with their pants down a little bit there. And indeed, the goal was open briefly, but covering it off was Pizza Cat, and a nice stun, just taking them off guard. Who was that? Will Kayak, I believe, who just scored the last couple of goals, playing some defense there with the stunnage. But hey, picked off on that sidewall. That will be sent way down the floor. And interception. So, sharpshooters really need to be careful here, kind of playing with fire, because obviously they look clean and just great in the first round, doing what they needed to do, taking care of that business, as I said. But this second round, Nani Reforged, they are not going away. The thing is, even in the first round when they were down by a bunch, one of those situations where they still played all the way to the last minute, and they kept trying to score, kept playing defense. So it's a situation where it'd be easy when you're the 4-player team, and I say this because I've been there before as well. It's easy to think that, okay, well, this round is just guaranteed. It's in the bag, it's in the pocket. And it's understandable why. You think, yeah, we're supposed to win. This is our advantage. But if you get too caught up in those mentalities and don't kind of give that full credit to the other team and play with that 100% mentality where, you know, whether I'm playing or scrimming against a master team or a bronze team, it's like if you don't give that full full credit and kind of full you know, respect to the other team in that sense, where it's like they can beat us, then you let off the pedal a little bit too much, and then suddenly you're kind of shocked because in the second round it's a tie game or we're only up by 2. As I said, it's happened to me. I think it's happened to probably any player, right? Not take any kind of situations for granted. Always got to play to the fullest. So with that, Sharpshooters scored nicely that last possession. If they can score here, that would certainly put them in a nice position, still the same, to finally have one of these teams go up by more than 1 goal. Because that has not happened yet in round 2. So with that, maybe a 3. Nope, just on the edge and couldn't punish them. Could have taken a lead right there. Still might just yet, but a solid save and a take back again. This is just going anchor to anchor, ping pong to ping pong between goalie and Ness. But right back to Pizza Cat. Pizza, though, being stunned, being left in that pizza box. Granted, though, they're going to get a stack down the floor. And now sending it down to the litter box, which is to say, Pizza Cat's home. Because cat, right? Anyways, sidewall, down by 2 points is the defense for Nani Reforged. Sharpshooters attempting to gather themselves here on offense. Will continuing to be kind of a boss inside there with the brawls at the mid lane. And another slapper down the field. All right, another interception. Here we go. Will Kayak. Defense trying to get back for Sharpshooters. There is one there to pick it off. It's Geeklol with the disc. Attempting to eye down a clear, perhaps. There is a midfielder, so at risk for a pick, and a pick it was. Grabbed off at the top. Will sending it, slapping it over to Duma. And meanwhile, another take back and just a stray into the mid lane. So really the last 45 seconds of action has been just a lot of those back and forth brawls and clears in the midfield as Lee and Knight now will finally put them up by a couple of goals. That is big for them in these last couple of minutes. 2 minutes, 15 seconds to be precise there, but that is big because this is the first time all round long that a team has been able to pull ahead by more than a goal. So this definitely puts Nani Reforged in a huge crunch because they know they need to score at least twice. Either tie or take a victory. And because of the disadvantage in numbers and the amount of time on the clock, that's going to be an even tougher task. For Sharpshooters, if they do get this disc back, it's going to come to a point where they need to probably prioritize, you know, just stalling it even. Because 15 seconds here, 15 seconds there, and then suddenly the game's going to be over. As long as they don't allow any more 3-point shots, they should be good in this round. Well, that said, there's the 3 attempts, and wow, that nearly went in. There's a 2, though, and they bring them back within 2. Will Kayak the retrieval. But see, the important thing there, as I always mention in these late-game scenarios, because of the fact that it was not a 3, that at least puts it in a position where as long as you force Nani into a 2 on the next play, I mean, the best they can do is tie in that instance, right? Or take a tough contested 3. So that's why it's important when you have that multi-goal lead in the last minute to 2 minutes. Try not to give up any easy open 3s because that can get a team back and even with a game winner down the road if you let them. So 2-pointers the way out. That said, this is what I mean because look, the goal is clear right now for a 3. If they can get their stacks going, I mean, that in itself could have been an open 3-point goal to maybe secure them a win. So that's why I say what I do because you see that tend to happen over the course of Echo history, a lot of times where teams will just kind of forget to cover off those 3s in the last minute. And I've seen probably a couple dozen game winners in last seconds because of teams leaving that 3-point open in the last 30 seconds of action. So something to always be aware of for sure. But that said, with one more goal here, or even just a quick stall, will be a victory, it looks like, for the Sharpshooters. making their move for one more, and from above, so below, Keiko, 13-9 in round 2. Maybe not as big of a margin as Sharpshooters expected, but they were able to secure the win, and that is what's important on the record books. So props to Nani Reforged, though, because they indeed played their hearts out, and they stuck with it that entire 20 minutes of action. So a lot of respect certainly for them, but Sharpshooters taking care of business and doing exactly what they needed to do to make sure they got that win in the books. Now that said, Knight also complimenting the good comms and awareness. Yeah, exactly. Communication and being able to use your teammates as your eyes and ears. A huge thing, absolutely. Now, that said, there are your scores. I believe those... Okay, so for some reason, I got stuck on the scores from last round. My apologies for that. I'll attempt... well, I'll clear it for now. So I guess the scores will have to be reflected over on the round end screen. Apologies for that. That said, let's see, we do have the next match coming up along, so I do need to take a quick intermission here to get that going. We have, what will it be? Yerma versus Honey Badgers, that's right. Okay, cool. So that one also had a decent amount of hype votes there, 9 hype votes. So on that note, I'm going to get set up for that match, and that will be probably my last cast here of the evening, or at least for this block. So stay tuned. BRB, my friends. Alright, hey everyone, and welcome back to VR Master League Channel 2. I'm Palidore. We've got Honey Badgers and Yerma coming on the stream for us. And let me switch up my overlays before I get too far ahead of myself there. There we go. So yeah, excited to see these players duke it out. Had 9 hype votes there on the match page of VRML, so I thought, hey, let's go pick this one up as well. You know, get these teams featured as we do wind down our season. So with that, folks, indeed we are in week 9. Regular season coming to a close in the next week and a half, and then off to Challengers Cups after the little break week, and into the finals right after. I mean, it seems like it's kind of gone by in a blink of an eye, but on that note, you know, all the more reason to get in these extra casts that we can and just get a good look at the growth and development of these teams. So with that, these two teams, Honey Badgers and Yerma, in the Gold division here. Gold 2 for Honey Badgers and Gold 4 for Yerma. Yerma, the 15-10 record, very impressive. Obviously, we've been putting in a lot of work and a lot of matches over the course of the season. Meanwhile, for Honey Badgers, they're currently at 11-11. So a win here could be big. A minor upset, perhaps, if it does happen, and yet a perfect way to finish out this season and get them back on the win column, you know, with one more win than loss. But either or, you know, these two teams in the looking to again complete this season just at the top of their game. It's such an important thing. We see the developments of teams towards the end of seasons because it kind of dictates the pace of how you go into the off seasons, how you come into the next seasons of play, right? I mean, yeah, there's time for breaks here and there, but you know, being able to end a season feeling like good and confident in what your team is doing, it's really strong in terms of being able to use that to just motivate you to the next season. You know, keep climbing that ladder up and up. Now, that said, we're going up and on into the first round, so here we go. Now, back into it. Let's do it. Honey Badgers running with a roster of Dewey Blank, Thunderfoot, Fallout Cast, and Cincinnati Guy. Over on Yerma's side of things, we've got Queen Cap, Vert, Chill Out, and Boop with a shot, and the oop. It's up from Chill Out to Vert. Now, first 2 points, and that took only 13 seconds off the clock. That was some efficient pass work there to find that backboard, that clock, as some people call it. Perhaps as most people call it, to be honest. I'm partial to backboard, though, if only because of basketball. But I know a lot of people call that clock, and you know, it's a powerful place to position yourself on offense because it gives you so many options for jukes, for anchors, for passes to, you know, cutters from the front. I mean, it's a very dynamic position on the floor, which is why people love to prioritize it when they can. Into the chat there. More people popping up in here again. Let's see, Nolan, one of our moderators there. Great moderators. Thank you for joining us here today. Well as Skittles and Ivan Thrive still sticking around. We got Trolls a lot. Well as Crispy, Rome, Luna, Skittles, and no problem for the confusion. That said, a little bit of confusion on that as it does go astray and picked off on the outer edge by Boop. So unable to maintain control for a moment, but Thunderfoot does get it right back for them. So putting that Thunderfoot to the pedal, to the metal, and let's see if they can show their metal and their might, as they will work a slower offense, just waiting for maybe some brawls and some positionings to pan out. Whole deal with the stalling offense, right, is when you back it out, you're trying to find a better angle, a better shot angle. Maybe have a teammate win a brawl first, then that way they can break free and now then get an easy pass right after. Things like that. Definitely a much more prominent part of the meta now than it perhaps used to be years ago. Although these days I would say it's much more of a mix. You get such fast gameplay oftentimes, and then it's followed by some stalls and some slow gameplay now and then. But 4v4, it brings those dynamics. And if it ever does go to 5v5, as we were talking about earlier with Ivan there and such, I mean, hey, it could still turn out yet, you know? I feel like on a personal level, we'd have to see the arena be scaled maybe 20% larger. Just my opinion. I feel like it might be a little small for 5v5, just looking at how fast the game is these days, especially with double stack metas. I don't know. That's just me, but I do think maybe one day 5v5 would be a possibility. as they go for a shot there, but an impossibility, at least according to Thunderfoot. Great save. And holding off the offense, at least for a moment. So Cincinnati throws that clear down the lane. All the stacks kind of breaking apart here, but might just turn into a 1v1 because of it. Cincinnati, a nice dive there by Vert, and couldn't convert. So even though that dive had missed, that was still the right move, because look, who was that? Fallout was up here from this 0 angle, basically. In other words, very few chances to actually make that score, right? It was going to be tough. And now, because of the dives on the other end, though, eventually Queen Cap will cap it off. That's the biggest boon to the dive defense, and the biggest time to prioritize it is when you have an offensive player making a catch on a disc, you know, from a tight angle, or otherwise from a long pass. You just dive on that player, right? Because the percentage shot, the percentage chance that they would have to make that shot is rather low, versus the reward you get for diving it, which you have a high chance of causing a disruption, whether a stun on the receiver or just a slap on the disc. Off the dome there of Vert, Chill Out couldn't get the disc out as Cincinnati guy will apply the pressure, but Vert making them hurt again. The defense here from Yerma, very, very well done. So back here to Dewey. Dewey trying to send a pass right up, and the lane's pressured fairly well. But another pass, that was excellent, and the execution for the first 2 Fallout casts on this cast. Leaving nothing to chance, bringing it within 1 meter to secure that goal that time. And when you have goalies who are doing what they're doing here on Yerma, in terms of both the dives and the direct saves, how do you get around that? Well, you bring it even closer. Get those dunks or otherwise very close proximity goals. So nice defense from Yerma, but Honey Badgers doing the right thing and bringing it close and executing their passes very well at that. Now Dewey Blank with a send out to that sideline. Queen getting stunned. And now a deep heave into that orange zone. That will be rebounded by Vert with half a second to spare. Calmly hands it over to Boop. And into the tunnel now, where the trap is met with a lot of players and some stuns. Now that will bounce waywards into the bubble, picked off by Dewey. Dewey Blank with a spin-around clear of sorts that kind of wildly goes over to that wedge where it's cleared by Thunderfoot and Cincinnati guy, who now link up on a chain. 2-on-2 inside the bubble. No one into the goal, however. Now covered off, but settling it down just as a defense turned around. 1 point advantage still for Yerma. But Honey Badgers starting to pick up the speed just a bit. Just a bit.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
I want to shout out as well, on a separate note, Dewey Blank over here on Honey Badgers, because... Where's my camera? There's my camera. Because Dewey Blank met him over at the Redshift LAN in Virginia back at the end of June. And I was on top of things. I know... Wears a lot of hats around the scene, certainly, but you know, great guy, keeping busy, keeping people organized and on task, and really just doing a pretty killer job. So, one of the many people that it was a pleasure to meet in real life at those Echo events that we have. So, good stuff. And now, well, speaking of, his team may be about to score. Cincinnati guy from the floor to the backboard to the 1 point advantage just as well. Honey Badgers now have made it, I do believe, 3 in a row.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Do you focus there? Nice puns. Thanks. I like words. You know how it goes. Welcome to the chat, though, and Sir Trees. Glad to have you planting yourself here on the stream, just the same. Now, speaking of, over there to the boots, not the root, but seeing if they can uproot or maybe cause some upheaval there, but no, being disheveled by the defense. Dewey Blank, leaving their noggins blank. Stuns will do that to you. Now it's just a matter of the stacks, as a matter of fact, and, well, getting back into the defensive zone, but misreading the disc was Yerma, so Dewey Blank instead will try to back this out, but it's overtaken. That was great defense from Boop. Dewey tried putting in a duck, but Boop just read that all the way. So with that, Cincinnati guy, the overtake. And that's going to be at the sidewall now. Picked off here and now cleared once again. Only 2:20 remaining in this second round. Or, sorry, this opening round. And, you know, not the highest scoring one, but not for a lack of effort or a lack of intensity. We've just seen a lot of great stacks and some great defense. Of course, maybe a miniature caster's curse because no one in the bubble that time. Vert is able to put them back up now. Certainly, that's something that they will love to see because they were sitting at those 5 points for quite a bit of time in this round. So, hey, no time better than the present, especially when the present is, you know, final 2 minutes of the round. Great time to get back on the scoreboard, but great timing on the stacks. Queen cap and boop. There you go. Another turnover caused here, and Honey Badgers trying to gather their stacks from the back line and make sure they don't get another shot, especially a long bomb 3. That would be devastating at this point of the game. So with that, bounced towards Honey Badger's bubble. Cleared out the way to the wedge, but picked off by Vert. Now Vert eyeing down the players, has a couple of passing options all around that bubble. A great positioning, there's a pass, a dive, and boop! Putting them up by 4. But Vert also credit on the great assist. The dive was there from Honey Badgers, but maybe just a half second out of reach. I mean, the margins of error there were so small, as you can see in that replay. I mean, again, quarter second of difference maybe, even. And that could have been a turnover cause instead. So, you know, credit to the defense. But that said, Yerma in a decent position to win this first round with only 40 seconds remaining. It would have to be some very quick decision-making and quick turnovers caused by Honey Badgers in order to complete a comeback with only 33 seconds remaining. So, here it goes. They need to score basically right now, or else the time is just about out regardless. A handoff to Foot, and a backboard pass and play that is from Cincinnati. Puts them within 2, but the time, unfortunately, is basically gone. It would take a basically record-worthy joust. Which is to say, I think those, you know, 1 to 2 second joust, I mean, they've been done. It's just difficult, and there it goes. But still, very exciting and intense first round. Both teams sticking right within competitive reach. I also see Thunderbabe in the chat saying, "That's my Thunderfoot." Well, I can only imagine you're well acquainted with Thunderfoot then. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here and watching and supporting. It's always a cool thing. Getting friends and presumable family and or loved ones on the streams. It's a great thing. Always one of the nicer parts as well, because, you know, the community reach extends beyond the game itself. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in the community. A lot of things to be proud for and excited about. So, always happy to see the support coming in from all different avenues, players or otherwise. Good stuff. Now, that said, yeah, round 1 is in the books as chat notes, Skittles and Luna. Tight match, says Big Rome. That it is. Started out with, what, a 5-0 lead for Yerma, followed by, what was it, 6-0 run by Honey Badgers, and then it was just goal for goal the rest of the way out. So this one could go either way. Pace has been fun, and the competition has been just as fun, as that is a near goal, and wow, gets it to go, Cincinnati guy. A technical goal, I suppose, as Chill Out did get the mitts. Did get the mitts on it, but just couldn't quite muster the save, unfortunately. But what a joust that was, still. Talk about quick joust, man. 5-second goal time. So here we go. Honey Badgers, quite the way for them to start. You gotta love it. We'll be back to Yerma. Definitely love the fact that for them that they got that first round win. Just eked it by. And meanwhile here, let's see, some stuns aplenty. Dewey Blink causing some more disruption inside that tunnel. A lot of stack breakage as well. Neither team really wanting to concede the speed towards the other, so it's always that balance, that rock, paper, scissors nature. What exactly it is you want to do. when it comes to, do I go for a regrab with a teammate? Do I go for a leech? Do I go for a stun? Do I go for a leech and a stun? The options are endless and very situational. But that said, picking it off here at the side, well, will be Boop on the recovery, and then on the back line you see Chill and Vert prepared to go on the stackage. Not trying to get too deep in though, and now opting to kind of hide from the line of sight and maybe see where a pass goes, if anywhere. But opting for the coverage instead on the lane, so that double stack defense becoming very, very popular here on the streams and VRML this season, more than any other before, across all our regions. EU, I think, certainly was the first region to kind of have that really popularized way back even in the preseason of VRML 2 years ago. And side note, might have noted there a crash, or I guess maybe just a disconnect. Maybe DoorDash wouldn't ring the doorbell. So they were down a player for about 20 or 30 seconds there, but it looks like Fallout is back in the mix. So going back all out into this second round. Only 2 points for the Honey Badgers thus far. Stacks able to get there in time, but they do misread that initial grab. Still have time on the second chance for Queen Cap to get a clear. Midfield interception from Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot walking it in from that cloud and attempting to maybe meet the cross pass, but a lot of congestion in that bubble. So possession to Vert and Yerma on their squad again. The Pizza Cat in the chat rooting on the Honey Badgers. Welcome to the stream, or back to the stream, I suppose. I know it's kind of a tough situation, 3v4 and all that stuff, but still good games. A lot of impressive saves from Pizza Cat in particular, so slick stuff. That's the thing, even with 3v4s, it's still very clear, the skill level. You can definitely take some good things away from it, as Thunderfoot will, well, take away a couple more points. Thunderfoot now with a couple points, saying, hey, Thunder Babe, this one's for you. I'll see you for dinner. So nice job there by Thunder. And Yerma back on the offensive joust. Alright, Vert and Chill Out not in any kind of stress to get rid of this disc faster than they need to, of course. Eyeing down the stack situation as Queen Cap doing a good job to brawl them out at first, although the speed catching up to them quickly. Still yet, perhaps a opportunity in the goal. There's a cross cut and nearly a beautiful job there. That was just an inch outside the reach of the fingers, but otherwise, that was some really solid pass work from Yerma to even evade those stacks that were pressuring quickly. A Queen Cap on that pass again. Very, very tough one and risky one to take, so will be cleared into the midfield, but stacks collecting once more. See these players for both sides. They are not wasting time, folks. Every time that disc is loose somewhere, you can bet they are finding their chains, their stacks, or they're at least breaking some up. One way or the other. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you. That said, trying to catch up to the disc. Cincinnati boy up top. They've got the advantage on the numbers, but apparently not for Vert, although Vert gets stunned and then taken back by Dewey Blank. And Dewey does it. Putting that decimal in the system. It's 6 on the board for Honey Badgers. Looking good in round 2 thus far. We're halfway through it. Does anyone even know what the Dewey decimal system is? That's my question. Anyone who was born maybe like in the early to mid-90s, perhaps, but I feel like anyone who was born in the 2000s might not. Anyways, Queen Cap with a disc. Never you mind. Boop with it. Now, Boop's going to try and pass it off, although gets caught up at the boot, so that will be ejected to the midfield. Picked off now by Vert. A bounce from Vert couldn't meet the catch, but Queen Cap was positioned on the other side, but so were the defenders diving out. Vert here with a pass over. Just throws it right into the midst of Cincinnati, though. So Cincinnati down the floor. And Thunderfoot now maybe looking for the cloud. And that's a place I'm sure that Thunder and Lightning is well familiar with as much as anything. So nonetheless, missing that one and into the deep end of the floor, grazing by on the barrier. Skittles saying probably not many of the younger viewers. Indeed. Honestly, even when I was in school, the Dewey Decimal System was already just about done and gone, but I know what it is anyways. Can't say I really used it, but nonetheless picked off here by Cincinnati. For those who don't know, just be thankful, I guess. Computers and internet made things so much nicer on all of us, didn't it? At least in some aspects, but, you know, not going to get too deep into that now, will I? Dewey Blank with the pass over here, connecting to Thunderfoot, and trying to find that connection right back to Dewey Blank, looking for a better angle. Always a fine strategy to impose on a team. 3.5 minutes remaining, and round 3 could be a reality here. Let's see. We're going, and they're going. They're scoring some more. Dewey Blank gets them up to 8 points. Slow and steady, and I gotta give props for it. It was executed with extreme poise. Honey Badgers now feeling in a pretty good position. And what I like here as well, looking at the scoreboard really quickly, and it applies to both teams, but just notice the fact that majority of the players on both teams have a nice distribution of scores as well as assists. It's not really a single person just doing everything. So it's really all about that team play, that team chemistry, trying to get that working just here. But no, a stun undoes it. Undoes it. Words. Down the lane and into the tunnel and down into the trench as well. A few misreads on the disc will buy some time for the defense to get back. But as I say that, same thing as last time, right? They back pass it out and they are willing to play this patiently, knowing that they are in full control in terms of the clock and the score. So doing exactly what they need to do. Another take back now by Dewey Blank. Dewey with a Dewey stank on the stun. And now the duck, the dive, the jump, all of the above. They are jumping ahead to 10. Dewey Blank doing everything. My goodness gracious. Giving Dewey compliments earlier on the stream for being an awesome organizer. In the lands and the Redshift land and beyond that too. So I recall Dewey has a lot of experience putting together a lot of events like that in and out of VR. But I guess notwithstanding, gotta give the compliments as a player too, because just did them dirty on those plays there. But that said, Yerma is not out of contention yet. In this round, maybe, but because of what we saw in round 1, you know, those shoes can definitely switch places in an instant. Even if it takes an extra round. You know, Yerma getting a great score there from Vert, and that will finally get them going. End this round the right way, they can still be in it for the 3rd round. So Cincinnati guy with a disc here, working it up. And a deep heave, no one really in the goal. That was nearly in. Could have been costly. But still into the midfield. Couple of players there, so maybe a miscommunication because of the 3 midfielders rushed to clear a little bit, and now unfortunately out of position. So Honey Badger's really just able to dictate this entire pace, it seems like, because here they go again, slow and steady, winning at least this race in this particular round. Well, there you go. I mean, continuing to they're not in any rush, they're not in any hurry. They know that they've got this one secured. And I really like that, because even though, as Cincinnati scores there, even though nothing wrong with a fast offense, they can be very fun to watch as well and very effective. I mean, you see teams at the top, you see teams like Ignite, for instance, right? They'll score 20 points plus basically every single round practically with the kind of offense that they play. But, you know, the thing is, they're a team, in Ignite also, and any Master team as well. All of them can stall. All of them can play it slow. They would not be where they are if they could not do a little bit of everything and practice every type of meta. But it's nice being able to see teams that are, you know, not in the Master or Diamond divisions here. You know, the teams that are on the rise, like these 2 teams, who I always like to call, you know, right now in the Gold division, but this is the future of Echo Arena. Because the Master teams of today, the Diamond teams of today, were the Silver and the Gold and Bronze teams of yesterday and yesteryear. So it's really nice to see teams across these ladders being able to practice the patient and poised stuff like that. You know, not getting too caught up in the flashiness of a really brisk offense where it's always go, go, go. You know, have to score, have to push, have to pass all the time. Sometimes it works, but you gotta recognize sometimes when it doesn't, right? And to Honey Badger's credit, they did exactly that in that 2nd round. Really controlled that pace so well. So for Yerma, they got to do is basically take this minute of intermission, maybe even extended if they want to take a timeout or not. Just to kind of figure out that strategy. Tighten up the communication, I would say, is one thing for sure. And, just try not to let Honey Badgers dictate that pace all too much. It's a tough thing when you're coming into a stall scenario when your team is down by several goals. That's tough to deal with for sure. But if you can start off the round, for instance, with a bit more denial defense, right? If they can maybe put together some double stacks for Yerma and just pressure that backline a little bit more and make sure that Honey Badgers don't have the time to dictate the pace, that will be good for them, right? Like, make sure that they are playing pressured before they're in the hole, as opposed to after. So let's see. These initial minutes are going to be very, very telling in what we can expect. And already we see some aggression in the midfield certainly coming out. Very well done from Yerma. So this might be a turnover cause. Let's see. They have a chance. No, actually picked off by Thunderfoot. Do we blank with a duck? And no, getting stuck thanks to Vert. Vert with a great save, but the rebound unfortunately going right back to Honey Badgers. So another attempt, and that will get through for Thunderfoot. Now, I will say, even though Honey Badgers scored there, I'm not convinced that that's necessarily a positive sign for Honey Badgers yet in terms of, controlling the pace, right? Yerma did a great job of pressuring there. They got a save. They got a clear or two. Basically, they made Honey Badgers work pretty hard to get their offense going on that play. So that's still a pretty good sign for Yerma on that note. Nothing to be discouraged by. I would be more discouraged if it was just another, minute-long stall into an easy walk-and goal, but it wasn't the case. That said, another one out, and good defense again by Yerma. They dived out on that tough angle in the shot. They dived out here to contest this one. The defense starting to light things up from Yerma. They are alive and well in this third round. Do not count them out yet. That stack is down the floor. One breaking off. It's Chill, and Chill trying to pass it out, but just missing the hands of the first teammate. The second one coming along the way, but three divers all on the disc. Still rebounded yet. Well communicated was that pass. Yerma going for the inside shot. That was phenomenal. Yerma on the defense and the offense. That last 45 seconds of play from Yerma on both sides were masterfully executed. That was very, very well done.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Now credit to Honey Badgers because they also put in some serious pressure on their own right. But hey, better offense will break up better defense more often than not. That said, rebounded off the wall. Chill out. Welcome, Jack G, back in the stream. Glad to see you again. Skittles pointing out the beautiful movement, and exactly, that was just... Those are the things. They might not be the flashiest plays all the time, but they're just so smooth and well executed as another execution. Speaking of, Vert leaving him dead in the water. Another great pickoff. Another save in this round for Vert. Oh, Cincinnati guy, leaving a dusty, but losing the handles the second attempt. Fallout cast with the recovery. Has a cross available, might not need it, a walk-in goal. No! It's Vert diving out! Vert. I'm saying it again and again and again because again and again and again, Vert has been stifling. And now, Boop taking it and rifling that down the midfield. But Dewey blank the interception. Crazy good defense, and again, some more saves from Vert. My goodness. The name is known, but the disc is thrown. Dewey Blank finally gets to go, but after how many attempts? This is some very encouraging gameplay from Yerma I'm seeing on the defensive end. The only place they're being left dead a little bit is those clears, the interceptions basically in those midfield brawls, because it's stuck on the orange side of the floor, obviously a bit too long, right? But it's tough, right? Because so much aggression. It's very hard to get a solid clear or pass sometimes when you're on the defense because of how quickly that Honey Badgers are now turning up their aggression. You see what I mean, though? Honey Badgers is a team who they've shown willingness to stall, but as you saw in those last instances, when the pace picks up, they also have the ability to eventually convert. Yerma's just making it as tough as they can. And tough it is. There you go again. But down the floor, that might have a chance. Hold on a minute. Oh my goodness! It's a 66-meter fling! 6 meters a second, so 666. That is evil. That is destroyed by Vert. Vert is destroying this round. Good lord. What a hit off of some more defense. I am stunned by what I'm witnessing here in the third round. You remember how I said in round 2 towards the end, right? Where it's still completely within the realm of reach for Yerma to turn it up to another level again and regather their strength, their rhythm that they had in round 1. They're doing that here. It's only a 1-point lead at the moment, but they're looking so much better as Dewey Blank, who's been putting up those jumps over and over. Well, we'll jump them like a hurdle and overcome that hurdle for a 1-point advantage right back.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
This is what I mean when I say, like, I love streaming. I love streaming matches across the ladder. Again, yes, this is not master tier. That doesn't matter. Find me someone who doesn't think that this is some masterful play that we've seen. Some of the defense that's been executed has just been crazy, crazy good. The offense just the same. Some of these team plays we're seeing from either side have been phenomenal as well. Yeah, you never discount team's ability in the ladder to impress you. Like I said, this is Echo's future. And the future is bright, based on what I'm seeing from Yerma and Honey Badgers. Off to the backboard, off to the races, tough angle, rebounded by Fallout Cast. Fallout Cast now eyeing down. The teammates has 2 of them down below, another great dive. Chill out, definitely freezing out on the defense. I am honestly amazed. Oh my goodness, that was almost in off that really weird bounce. Still will be yet. Chill out, puts him up by 1. Honestly though, I'm legitimately, for different reasons, I'm floored by both of these teams. Honey Badgers, especially in that second round, mega impressed by the poised offense. For Yerma though, I'm shocked at the defense. Maybe I wasn't giving it enough credit in round 1 or paying attention to Yerma's defense in round 1 because they were scoring so much. But they've been playing this defense so well. I cannot exaggerate that. Look at it. Look, the timing of their dives, the aggression in the midfield, the saves directly in the goal. Literally every single part of defense that you can execute, they have executed very, very well in round 3. Like I said, probably in the other rounds also. I just wasn't paying attention. But Fallout Cast, look at that. Up by 1 again. Honey Badgers back on the board.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Skittles saying, I don't know why it's even a thing to talk about good gameplay. Good gameplay is good gameplay. I think it's important to talk about it because, 1, good for these teams to see they're on the right track, but 2, good to point out for the teams and players who are newer, and we've had actually some new players watching these streams as of late in the chat as well. It's good to see Echo done right and good to explain why it's done right, especially with defense. Defense is such a subtle thing. Offense is obvious, right? I mean, offense is hard, but it's more obvious because it's just A to B. Like, okay, you pass, you cross, you cut, you pass, you score, right? Like, look, that was an obvious play. It was a 1-2 punch. Defense is so dang subtle. There are so many nuances to defense because an offense can work in the bubble with just 2 players, right? Or even 1 player sometimes. But defense, it really requires all 4 players, and I mean all 4 players playing their role to precision. If everyone is not doing the right thing on defense, all 4 players, then the play is lost, flat out. So it's really not an obvious thing. So I love pointing those things out because, again, it's just, it's not the most obvious thing for newer players. That said, though, Dewey Blank is getting it done through the layers and the layers of defense on these players and players. 10-9. Oh yeah, and for sure, just saying that it's not surprising to see excellent gameplay outside of just Master. And I agree wholeheartedly. I only bring this up because it was also a topic literally an hour before, I did these streams for the night. You know, talking about what matches we might want to include on, you know, VRML 1 or not include on VRML 1, etc., etc. Whether we keep it only to Master or only to Diamond, for instance. Matches like this in the Gold Division prove exactly why these kind of matches absolutely deserve to be right up there with Master and Diamond. I mean, they are putting on a show. These plays are fantastic. So, you know, cannot discount the ladder of VR Master League, as maybe this shot could be good, but off at left lane, still yet the defense trying to gather themselves back. Cincinnati guy with a pick. We're in the last 30 seconds, folks. I'm a little worried for Yerma here, purely because that stall game from Honey Badgers, they did it to win round 2. They're trying to do it to win round 3. Let's see, the defense now playing aggressively. Now at this point, they're going to have to gather that double stack in a second and just aggress. If they leave that goal open, so be it. They need to push right now. Pushing they are. Pushing they get the disc. Throwing it off and may have a second, but no, couldn't quite get it. And out of the way it is. And the round in the third and final one will go to Honey Badgers. But boy, was that a supremely excellent match to watch. I love that one in so many different ways. I know I tend to I tend to rave, excuse me. I tend to rave about matches a lot when I stream. That one in particular, though, was a little bit extra. And it wasn't just smoke. I'm so impressed with what I just saw there. That was a fun match, and very, very well executed from both teams. Nothing to be ashamed of for sure. I like that both sides, I know that you guys can't see it, but no one has left yet in the game. They're all 8 of them still there. You know, just saying good games and stuff like that, just to end things off. You know, there were no rage quits, and I like to see that because that was close. That could have gone either way. Fun stuff. That said, yeah, that was a match. Yerma, they will take, let's see, their 11th loss, but still 15 wins on the season. That is very impressive. And for Honey Badgers, like I said, they were technically the underdogs of sorts in terms of, you know, the ranks, but. Or, sorry, in terms of the win rate in that sense, but, like, everything they did, you know, execution to the max, and then the last minute stall. I think for Yerma's side, strategically speaking, the only point of, like, critique I could give just in the last seconds was when it hit that 20-second mark, just about. I think that's when that double stack in the goal needed to leave the goal, basically. Because you saw they did leave when there was about 10 seconds left. And they did actually get the disc back, but it was just too little too late, right? They did not have enough of a gap, enough of a buffer to actually do anything once they caused a turnover. So it was the right move, having that initial stack contest Honey Badgers in the midfield. But once it got to about 20 seconds or so, that second one needed to leave, basically. Because, you know, either way it could have. Yes, you leave an open goal, but the other team was going to win anyways, right? So only a slight thing. Again, that's such a minor thing and so subtle anyways that it's, you know, it's not a knock. So don't get mad at me if you're watching this VOD later and thinking, how dare Pally critique what we've done? We played so well and so hard. You did. So, you know, not trying to be the peanut gallery here, but just my only observations. Anyways, that said, that is done and out of the woods now. I'm very happy I picked up that match because very good. But yeah, absolutely, as spit a lot there. Absolutely, as you guys picked up on. Look at the saves there for Vert. Look at the scores for Vert and for Yerma as a whole. Everyone with points, everyone with assists. You know, 3 out of the 4 players with saves and steals. Incredible. Big stat lines all around, and well done on their end. Honey Badgers side, I mean, much the same. Everyone scored. Everyone has assists. I love the 5 assists from Cincinnati and the 4 from Thunderfoot. This is a team in Honey Badgers who are content with anyone scoring. It doesn't matter who scores. They basically know, because of their system and their willingness to pass, that everyone is going to be able to get theirs at some point in the game. And they did. So phenomenal to watch on that end. You know, the disc sharing and then some, you know, saves there. Thunder with 3 saves as well. Meanwhile, 4 steals and 54 stuns to lead the way there for Fallout. So definitely for Fallout, opponents need to take shelter when he's in the area. I mean, nice stats on that line as well. You know, Dewey Blank had the crafty offense, a lot of jumps, a lot of ducks, and a lot of finishes. And Cincinnati guy, again, a good mix between the finishes on the plays or the assists. So everything being done by everyone. Just close it all up. So that said, that's it for me for now. Maybe get some more later on if there's some like late streams, but that'll be it for this block. Happy to do it. Thanks everyone in the chat for joining. Skittles VR, Ivan Thrive, sticking around. Great to have you again. Johnny Mac, Luna, Big Rome, Defocus. Appreciate you guys, and Jack G, of course. Fun times all around. Hope your evenings go very, very well. And until next time, I've been Palidore. This has been VR Master League Channel 2. And yeah, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe, and be great to each other. Pretty please. And we'll see you again real soon.
And we're underway.
Season 4 of VRML Echo Arena is brought to you by HyperX, Asterion Products, VRware, Rebuff Reality, VR Cover, and ProTube VR.